topic for today's new video is actually welcome to the new matrix. So I'm just going to run through some detailed notes that I got while I got downloads. I got one download and then I got another and another, so I actually just wrote it down. It's a good like 2 to 3 pages of stuff, and while I do that, I'm actually just going to shuffle. It helps me to bring in any more messages that I may have that I missed or didn't hear clearly. A lot of the messages that I get, I either get spontaneously through downloads or through some sort of, I get them a lot when I channel, but it's like how I get them that is always pretty amazing to me. So my cat Luna is going berserkers. She usually does when my guides are in the room. So in terms of welcome to the new matrix, the ideas that they're kind of bouncing off of me to make the title make sense is like the movie Free Guy and Ready Player One. So that kind of ties into the metaverse. Our reality is kind of only so messed up, and we don't really want to have to deal with it, so we're just going to escape into another reality, right? But like that's kind of the whole, it's like a matrix within a matrix. The original matrix is failing and people aren't really responding to programming the way that they used to. So hey, we don't necessarily have an exit strategy, it's an upload strategy. We'll just upload you somewhere else. Oof. 10 of Swords. Okay. Very painful. Yeah, I would imagine so. Fake spiritualists. You'll notice that a lot of spiritualists who are now verified randomly they randomly just sprout out of nowhere, built a cult-like following out of nowhere, and managed to build this empire out of nowhere. They're going to be exposed for either stealing content or manufacturing content, pretty much. And right, because a lot of the stuff that they talk about is collective, we like to believe that they're accurate, when in reality, some of them, not all of them, some of them have stolen their content from other individuals, or they go, well, the collective means like all of these people. Someone somewhere is bound to vibe with what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's bound to resonate with someone, which is why it's so simple for them to pull shit out of thin air. Yeah, all about their coin. The shuffling is to help me specifically bring in more messages as I'm running through this list. As we talk about bringing in more money, of course, right? They're all about their coin, of course. Being a plant is easy. Being an industry plant is so simple. Do XYZ, tweet this, do that. Boom, it's so simple. I mean, if you're under contract or, she is having a blast. Bloodline work. Anyone who's considering doing like these DNA tests to figure out their actual roots, where they have roots in, and which spiritual practices, they can explore to find what fits them. It's going to be really beneficial to you. I've been doing that as well. Okay, had to temporarily switch the setup. That's fine, whatever. Still temporarily trying to figure this out. Okay. So, where did I leave off? We talked about, bloodline work. I've been doing that. Investing. And figuring out which styles of divination work best for me. It's going to be crucial for some of you, really beneficial to others of you. Just provide you with that little bit of confirmation. Oh, of course. Temperance. Cute. So, again, the shuffling isn't, this isn't a reading. This isn't like a tarot reading. I'm just shuffling to get the information, okay, that I need so that it comes out more, you know, just in case I missed something. Uploading / can't get to New Earth. So a lot of people specifically who've had problems raising their vibration are going to easily flock to the creation of the new matrix, because it's going to be a lot easier and simpler to go along with what everyone else is doing than to attempt to raise your vibration anymore. This is how some people think, not everyone. Just know that when you do this, and you can't get to New Earth, Earth 2, 5th dimension, whatever, however you choose to identify with the shift that's happening, you risk being stuck. For some reason, they keep saying like locked in deep, can't get unstuck, locked in deep, can't get unstuck. It's like, no, I'm listening. It's going to be all you care about because you didn't know anything else to begin with, and you don't know anything else now. It's going to be comforting to you, all types of nostalgia. It's going to fill you with a sense of wonder. You're going to feel like a kid again, only this is a reality of your own design, which technically you're already in, by the way. But because it's going to be simpler to you in a Ready Player One or Free Guy video game type style, you are going to grasp quite literally creating your own reality. But once you realize that that was an option all along, and you're like, well, wait, I'm ready to go, you're going to be, you can't. They keep referencing to like Wall-E, like when they were on the spaceship, and the man and lady bumped into each other, and they go, whoa, they look at outer space, and they're like, whoa, like seeing it for the first time. Though it's kind of weird that you were kind of bred, your whole existence was like on that ship, so you were bred from a toddler to like being in that chair, and you never bothered once to like look up and see what's going on around you, you know. The climate and everything going through these shift and changes and crazy weather patterns is the earth trying to heal itself. It's going to be labeled as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I mean, it's chaotic, and some of what's happening will be extremely unfortunate, but the earth is attempting to heal itself. So but you know, it's going to be like spread the fear to enable the upload, right? So if you fear reality, if you fear what's happening in this reality, if you don't know how to see things as they are and try to fully understand them, that upload's going to seem like heaven to you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to live beyond a reality that you mentally cannot fathom, anything that you cannot understand. You know, the only thing about this reality shift is that they're saying it's going to be like a flip the script type deal. So anyone who comes from money but also is lower vibrational will go in, and it'll flip the script. So like they won't have money the way that they think that they'll have money. I don't know, it's like a class flip, you know what I mean? Like lower class is now upper class, and upper class is now lower class. For those of you who aren't buying the new matrix, you know, it's going to be important for you to recode yourself and reprocess yourself, meaning watch your diet, have regular conversations with your spirit guides, your spiritual communities, those who are looking out for you. Make sure that you have fail-safe plans together. This isn't to spread fear, this is just facts. Not you know, like something catastrophic is going to happen. It's just, these are just normal things. Like even in a house, your parents kind of teach you, oh, well, just in case there's a storm or whatever, you need to be prepared. So those types of things. If you work with yourself. You're going to be coming into contact with your spiritual tribe who's going to help you advance. But if you are someone who's already in a spiritual tribe, you've already found your spiritual family and you have kind of a head of that spiritual family, make sure that you're talking to them regularly to get the information that you need to be prosperous during these times. It's going to be really easy for some of us to fall right back into the matrix simply because that vibrational shift, some of us, it's going to be make or break. It's going to be go time, or you're going to crack down and decide to go back to the reality that you knew that you were comfortable in. And if you want to learn more about that, I suggest you read, there's this book on light bodies. I'll actually just enter it into the description. It explains that pretty well, that some of us who reach a particular light body are like, is this real? Is this not? Am I real? Am I not? Because you're being pushed so far outside of what you already know, you kind of just don't want to be bothered. So you tend to go back down. You don't lose anything that you've learned. Some of us just aren't built for that. And so we go, oh, maybe next time. There's some information on stopping the reincarnation process. I don't know how that's possible. I have to actually sit and meditate on that one. It seems as though in uploading, something about uploading your consciousness and like you don't come back. But like, why? There's nothing to fear. Death is not something to fear, and I think a lot of people fear death, and that's why they're going to be comfortable uploading their consciousness. Truthfully, there's more information. I can't. I could write a whole novel on the information that they're. Okay, I apologize. Skin folk ain't kinfolk. This is for anyone really. Just because someone looks like you and seems to be on the same path as you does not mean that they're for you. You could be the most elegant, influential person within your community and meet another person who's like that in their community. And you get with them and they're spiritual too and you have a lot in common. But it turns out that they're playing the role that they were given quite well, if that makes sense. It's kind of like on the verge of, I took some notes on this too, like influential people spreading fear, wanting you to do things because it's going to be convenient. Like when people say, oh, something's coming, don't forget to buy, 50,000 things of this, and that, and then you're terrified, and then you do, and then there actually does end up being a shortage. Well, why is there a shortage? Because thousands of people who saw the same content decided to buy up everything they could get their hands on. I'm not saying that that's always the case. I'm just saying that that's the example that they're giving me. It's like, are you really even vetting your sources? Is kind of like what they're saying. But it's like, okay, you got this information, but did you speak to us? Did you speak to your guides? Did you talk to any of us to see whether or not any of this was true at all? Or are you just going based off of someone else because they say they're spiritual and their spirit guide said X, Y, and Z? And something else that I've come to learn is that social media kind of acts as not a feedback loop, but a doorway into other, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I have this working theory with a few people that it's like a doorway into alternate realities, because when people say that something in particular is happening somewhere and then I go to look, it's like not, It's weird. At one point they were like, yeah, they're like knocking on doors to make sure people are vaccinated. What reality are you existing in? They're not doing that where I'm at. They're not doing that where I'm at. So, that's why I always say that's why I always say to check, but that's why they're saying to vet your sources, because what's happening in someone else's reality does not necessarily mean that that's what's taking place in your reality. And when you start confusing things and you're not understanding and you're not paying attention and you're not asking questions and you're just going off blind faith, you're gonna get yourself fucked up. Okay? False awakening. There's events that are happening around the world right now. I'm not going to talk about them. You know what I'm talking about. Where people are seeing all this stuff and they're like, oh, I want to decode this. What does this, and this mean? And like they do all this and now they feel spiritual. I'm so enlightened and I'm spiritual and I learned this, and it's like false awakening, right? So you go through this and you do the work for this, but you won't do the work for anything else. You don't actually attempt to make communication with your guides. You don't actually attempt to make any sort of changes to yourself or your reality. You're comfortable in the fact of your reality that you're currently existing in. You're comfortable not doing anything to change the circumstances. You think that, you know, all of this stuff is fun and games, and as soon as the slightest inconvenience happens, it's, oh my God, I shouldn't have been involved in that witchcraft stuff. Not realizing that it's your ancestors who came up with it, and it's not all necessarily witchcraft, and it depends on your bloodline and where you stem from and what they call it. Learn about yourself. Please, if you're spiritual, you're trying to grow, learn about yourself, because the more you know about yourself and the more you know about your roots, the easier things are going to be and the more sense things are going to start to make, especially when it comes to how you guys communicate or some of the offerings that they want, you know. And always make sure you know who you're talking to. Lighting a candle and saying, oh, I would like to speak to my guides, or blah, blah, blah. You're not setting any boundaries. You're not dictating any rules. And you're just kind of allowing for anyone and anything to step through the doorway. So there's that. Don't allow for false awakenings to feed the ego. That's pretty much what's happening. Because now you feel like you're the greatest individual on the planet. And now you want to... It gives me a headache to think about, truthfully. You're feeding your ego. You're not actually putting in any spiritual work. You're not trying to find a decent community. You're not trying to find a mentor. You're not trying to do anything. You just want the title of being a spiritualist, or being a witch, or being whatever it is that you feel is grand, is your grand title. You know, but you didn't do anything to earn that title. You just kind of rode the energetic wave, and now you're stuck on it. Ascension. Please don't confuse ascension symptoms with like actually being sick. You can have ascension symptoms, you know, the headaches, the ringing in the ears, and the, you know, being sick, or, you know, suffering from IBM, but like, if you're going through the 6 days in a row, it's likely that you're not ascending. Go see a doctor. Go see your doctor. Go see whatever, you know, herbalist, spiritualist, Reiki, whatever. Talk to someone who can give you some clarity on that situation, because spending 6 days in and out of the bathroom every 20 seconds going, oh my gosh, I'm ascending. I'm reaching a higher form of consciousness, and you're just sick. Please see a doctor. Please see a doctor. This isn't a jab at you. I had to go through this too. You have to learn to discernment. Use your discernment. Learn about yourself. Learn about your body. And this is why they brought up recoding and reprocessing yourself, so that you can know more about yourself and how your body works. When I personally go through an ascension, I experience X, Y, and Z. The usual length of this is X, Y, and Z. During this time period, I communicate with my guides heavily to make sure that this is what I believe it is. And if they're telling me that it's not what I believe it is, then I need to see a doctor. Whatever a doctor is to you, that could be a shaman, that can be an herbalist, you know, whatever, someone in your community, a Reiki practitioner, whatever it is, just something other than, you know what I mean. Are you lazy, or do you just need rest? This is one that I'm dealing with currently. I am both lazy and I need rest. But what happens is I get lazy because I take breaks and then I pump out so much content, and then I'm just exhausted. And I feel like I could sleep for a week, but I really do need the rest. But it's a vicious cycle, right? My guides, they explain to me heavily, you wouldn't need the rest like this if you weren't lazy to begin with. Small sections and getting small projects done, getting your readings done. You don't need to get out XYZ number of readings a day. The bookings, you know, if something is wrong and you just can't, give them a refund or give them a part of their money back for the wait time. Whatever it is, you know, take better care of yourself, basically. But when it comes to all of you, I have a, one of my guides is already tied to this deck. Get to know your decks, please. I actually give my guides, my ancestors, my starseed, ancestors, my dragon, they all have their own deck. So each, energy knows who I'm communicating with based off of the deck that I pick up. So we have our set of rules, like if it's a yes or a no question, I just do uprights for yes and reversals for no. Some decks I will only take all uprights from. Some decks I will only take reversals from. You know, I have a interesting way of doing things, but that's neither here nor there. So, laziness or just needing to rest. I'm not taking that. Laziness is upright, just needing to rest is reversal, please. Look at that. A good number of you are just fucking lazy. But some of you do need rest. Spirit is saying some of you do need rest. Which is funny because the Lover's in reverse. Right underneath. So. But with the laziness coming out first, I think a lot of you started your spiritual awakening and kind of slowly backed off. You got more into others who were putting out content as opposed to really getting out there and doing something or finding a community. And that's okay. I mean, it's okay to want to sit back and watch and let things unfold and, you know, figure out where you can go from there. Just don't wait too long. You don't want to miss that golden opportunity in that doorway. Okay. This was a very specific download and I had to write it word for word. You create and experience your own reality. Stop letting others dictate limitations for you. Meaning that you can create your own reality, exist in it, and that can be your truth. You don't need someone else to come into your reality and dictate what the limitations are, what you are and are not capable of, and what you do and do not experience. I'll say it again. You create and experience your own reality. Stop letting others dictate limitations for you. This is especially true for my Black spiritualists like myself. Stop letting people dictate what is for you and what is not. Stop letting people dictate what the limitations are for you. You know, I don't care if it's another Black spiritual person. You create the reality you exist in. If it doesn't sit right with your spirit, then it's not for you and it's not right for your reality. Change that shit. Because some of y'all guys is not going to tell you again. Lastly, not lastly because they want me to bring up a message about twin flames. Okay, that's cool. But check on your familiars and your healing animals. Any animal really that works with you. It could be your cat, your dog, your snake, especially if you use them in divination. They guard portals heavily for you, or they're aware of the vibrational and dimensional shifts. Check on them because spiritual warfare is extended beyond humans. So like how you would feel that you're getting attacked, your familiar or spiritual companion could be getting attacked as well. You need to be doing everything that you can to make sure that they're cleansed, where they hang out is cleansed. You know, you want it to be a safe space for everyone involved, especially if your familiar is in charge of guarding portals and keeping track of vibrational and dimensional shifts, like my Luna. She watches portals all night. She actually sits on my chest and purrs and just watches, and it's like the most fascinating thing to experience. Yeah. Twin flames. I'm not going to do this again. I say this all the time and then I end up talking about twin flames. Split the deck and it's the fucking Nine of Cups. Some of you are going to come into union. Oh, jeez. Whoa. My bad. I wasn't expecting this. Whoa. I do that. I split the deck. Not the Star. Not the Star. I mean, yes, the Star. One more. Which one? I'm just curious. There? Ooh. Interesting. Okay. This is my supernatural tarot deck, by the way. I love this deck. Hanged Man. The High Priestess, okay. Divine Feminines did the work. Divine Masculines are having to play catch up. Celebrating the end of third-party situations. This could just mean work, stress, and or another individual. Divine Feminine. I'm channeling. I was not expecting. There's a whole channel message here. Divine Feminines are realizing that they are the star of the show. Divine Feminines are realizing that they are the star of the fucking show. I'm here for this. Well, y'all just ain't taking no shit, huh? Divine Masculines are having to play catch up because the Divine Feminine tried to show them the way and they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. They wholeheartedly did not want to hear it. So you walked away. Divine Femmes walked away. Oh, thank God. Thank Source, because some of you really needed to put yourself first. You knew this was your twin flame and you were like, oh, you kind of backed off because you thought the runner chaser thing would switch when you did that, but you didn't really back off. You just kind of looked the other way. Yeah. No. It wasn't until you fully backed off, kind of sort of told them to fuck off, but didn't, that things are now moving into this forward position. Good for you. Divine Masculines, I have nothing to say to you. Do the fucking work. Hee hee. No. But, oh. 10 of Cups. Beautiful. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out what makes you happy. Now, the twin flame journey is, from my understanding, usually one individual. The Divine Femme is spiritual and the Divine Masculine tends to be more grounded in earthly things. The way I like to see it is like, this is just how I envision it. A human dating an alien. A human dating an alien, and the alien's like, oh, on my home planet, and this is how we communicate, and this is how we show love, and this is how we get our ideas of the future. This is how we look to the past. And the Divine Masculine is going, on Earth, I call you when I want to, and I do this, and I do that. And it's very like, it's almost like there's no emotion to it. But they have to open up their heart space. It's going to take time. Divine Femmes did their job though. So Masculines, you have to figure out what your next move is. You're the chaser now. Divine Feminines realize their worth, and when Divine Feminines do the work and Divine Masculines do none of the work, it could mean permanent separation. In which case, I like to say it like this: the universe gifts you with someone who's on your level. They don't need to be your twin flame, but they are on your level in every way, and might actually even be a little above you and teach you things that you didn't realize that you needed to be taught. And divine feminines, once they get it together and they meet that individual, a lot of the times that's union. That's it, because this person is also a high ranking level soulmate. You know, something someone told me one time is your twin flame can be a soulmate, but not all soulmates are twin flames. Because you can have more than one soulmate, but you can have more than one twin flame too, I believe, when your soul mission is larger. But yeah, that's a conversation for a whole nother day. Theories and books I would need to read and get involved in. So that's what I've got. I'm going to pull a card from this deck. For some closing remarks and inspiration to take with you. Ooh. You got 2 cards. Oh, of course, and we were talking about twin flames and how some of the divine femmes were going to be blessed with someone who's on their level or a little higher. This says this is love and partnership. Boop. Let me see if I can get this to concentrate. Open your heart to love and live in the moment with passion and exuberance. Indulge in the harmony of a great partnership. Be happy. And then the one underneath that is the sun. And this says, you are on fire with success through the radiant energy of the sun. Dreams are coming true, targets are being reached, and innocence is being rewarded. Your children or your creations are soaring into a bright future with uplifting fortunes beckoning. So, divine femmes may be birthing businesses and future projects which will be blessed along with your next partnership. Congratulations. Alright, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching.